Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are new. Hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Getting right into today's video, I am starting off by removing my client's current design. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling all too well that day, so I did not record her set of nails she currently has on. But if you are interested in sunflower nail tutorial, I do have a video on that, so you guys can check that out. That will be linked in the video. So getting right into it, I am using my Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file. I have her at a speed of about 10,000 RPMs. Along with that, I'm using the Kiara Sky 5-in-1 carbide bit in medium gray. So basically what I'm doing is going over that acrylic and filing it down until it is a very, very thin layer. Whenever I do my colored acrylic, I just go straight in with the color. Most of my colors will cover it perfectly, so I do not worry about adding a clear coat underneath. Yes, that might be a smarter route, but especially when doing natural nails, I prefer not to add that extra thickness, as then the nails can become a little bit too bulky, and I prefer to do my clients' nails a little bit more on the thin or more natural looking side. I'm using pretty firm pressure when doing this process, but I continue to move across the nail. I mentioned it before in my previous videos that you want to make sure you are avoiding heat spikes, and in order to do that, you want to continue to move throughout the surface of the nail without staying in one spot for too long. That's basically what's going to cause it. Another good pointer to make sure you do not cause a heat spike is to continue to lift up your e-file no matter how many movements you make. If you pay close attention to the movement of my e-file, every time I'm moving across the nail and I go back to the opposite side, I am lifting up my e-file. That kind of allows the handpiece, or I guess I should say the bit, to cool off a little bit before you place it back onto the nail. Those quick little movements are going to help tremendously. I haven't had anybody complain about it getting hot. And another good way of making sure that it's not hot is kind of running your finger across the natural nail or the nail itself, because that will also kind of give you an indicator if the nail or enhancement or natural nail is heating up slightly. So make sure you guys stay on top of that and you guys should be good to go. So I'm going to continue to remove that acrylic, again just moving across the nail with a good amount of pressure, making sure that I'm removing that till it's very, very thin. Of course, you don't want to get past the natural nail, so I always leave a little bit of product on that nail.
I see the blessings coming our way, yeah. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I see the blessings coming our way, our way, our way. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I see the blessings coming our way, yeah.
Once I'm done using my e-file, I go in with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file or any hand file that you have accessible to you. I prefer these, absolutely love them. I talk about them in every single one of my videos. So I'm going in on the sides and then just gently trimming them down very, very lightly. And then I like to go over the surface of the nail just one more time to see if I can get any more acrylic off without getting to her natural nail. When doing this with a hand file, I feel like I have better control of it, and again, less heat spike probability, so I want to go ahead and make them as thin as possible. Going on the sides, on the tip of the nail, and then the surface of the nail very, very gently. Once I'm done removing most of the acrylic, I am going in and prepping the natural nail for the acrylic application. For this step, I'm using my Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file. I have now moved it down to a speed of 4,000 RPMs. That is my comfortable speed for prepping. I feel like that's slow enough but fast enough to get the job done. So I'm going in with my mandrel bit from Profile's Backstage. Along with that, I'm using their purple sanding bands in medium grit. These are super fine, so you do not have to worry about any ridges or any damage to the natural nail, as long as you are being very, very cautious and have your e-file at a low speed. For this step, I'm just going gently around that natural nail and the cuticle area. This helps gently push back the cuticle without having to use cuticle pushers, while also removing any lifting she might have and just prepping that nail all together for the enhancement. Now when it comes to prepping the natural nail, you want to make sure you get everything off that can cause lifting. So for this step, I'm using my needle bit and I'm just going gently around that cuticle area, and as you can see, there's still some dead skin coming off even though I already thoroughly filed with my mandrel bit. So this is a good way to make sure that you are preventing any lifting from your prep process. Definitely recommend if you guys are having any issues. I still have my e-file at 4,000 RPMs. My next step and my favorite is the cuticle ball bit. I have now moved my e-file up to 5,000 RPMs. With the cuticle area, I feel like that speed is a better speed to fully remove all that dead skin, and this just eliminates the need to cuticle nip or trim any cuticle off. I am thoroughly cleaning the surface of the nail with a lint-free wipe and some Young Nail Swipe. I basically just scrub it on there, make sure I remove all the dust while at the same time dehydrating that natural nail. Yes, this takes the place of a dehydrator. Now once I'm done fully doing that, I'm going in with my XXX Bond from Not Polish. This is their primer, and I'm basically scrubbing that onto the natural nail, a little bit on the rest of the nail. It is not necessary, but because some areas of the nail are exposed where the acrylic is, I'm just making sure I am applying that all over. And then I am applying a second coat. It's just my preference. If you're having issues with lifting, even though you've already focused on your prep, make sure you add a second coat of primer, and that normally does the trick. Now for our acrylic design, she decided to go with a rainbow, colorful, kind of ombre marble watercolor effect. So we are going to be using tons of bright colors, which I am obsessed with. I've done similar designs like this before. If I can remember what video it was, I'll leave it linked. But this is one of my favorite type of designs to do. I love colorful, I love neon, so I was so excited that she chose that. This is definitely more out of her comfort zone, so I got a little bit way too excited. So I will be linking all the colors down below. I forgot to write them down, so they will be linked down below. They will be also mentioned in the video. I just don't remember the names off the top of my head. So we're starting off with this really pretty teal color at the top, and I'm basically slanting the design across the nail. Then we're going into a lime green and then a neon yellow, and I'm basically just applying it, kind of blending it together while trying to marbleize it just slightly. And of course, for today's video, I am using all Not Polished products. I'm using their acrylic monomer, the acrylic brush in a size 12. And then I am using all acrylics from their summer collection. Now for the next nail, because I want it to gradually fade into different colors, we're taking that color that we used for the tip and adding it up near the cuticle area. So the same neon yellow is going up in the cuticle area, and then I'm adding the neon orange, and then we're going to be adding pink to the tip. So a good tip to creating this very simple, quick, yet beautiful design is to not overthink it. I've mentioned this before in any of my marbleized kind of tutorials or videos. The more you overthink it and the more you try to get that perfect marble effect, the less it's gonna come out perfect. I feel like I have personally done this where I just think it's not going to look good, so I keep trying to overcompensate with a product, and that is not the way to go. Just go with it. Make sure you're working with wet product. So as you can see, it's still wet, and I'm going in directly with the next color, and that helps blend it perfectly together. So for the middle finger, we're doing pink, a kind of fuchsia color, and then purple at the tip. And as you can see, I'm just trying to go with the color combination and make sure that they all flow very well. Again, wet beads will do the trick. Slightly apply them where the other colors are, and then it'll gradually marbleize it itself. But you also want to drag the product up a little bit just to kind of help the product and set in to the nail. Again, I'm just adding a little bit wherever I feel is necessary. And then for the index finger, we are going to start off with purple, and then we're going to go back to teal and green. You can tell that the bead is still really wet, and I'm just doing slight cleanup right here near the cuticle area. And then immediately after, I'm going in with that second color as the product is still wet. And because the teal color is wet itself, that's going to give it a little bit more time to set, and that's basically the perfect consistency for marbleizing. I'm just adding a little bit wherever I feel is necessary, and then we're going to be adding that green and then continue the process on the thumb. Super, super simple, very quick, and I am obsessed with how these nails turned out. Now before I switch over to her other hand, the only reason why I'm including that footage is because I ended up switching the application process from the tip instead of starting at the cuticle area. I do want to mention, of course, you guys can tell that she does have a skin condition on her hands. That does not bother me whatsoever. It is not contagious. I know there's going to be a lot of people questioning why I'm not wearing gloves. We both fully wash our hands before I get started on her nails, and I honestly disinfect my stuff properly, so that is not an issue. She does not have any broken skin exposed. It's just basically like a rash. So before you guys say anything rude, please refrain from doing so. My client was very nice enough to let me record on her nails. Therefore, please appreciate this video without being rude. Now that that's out of the way, for this hand, I decided to start at the tip. And I'm working my way up into the cuticle area versus on the other hand, I started off at the cuticle area. My pregnancy brain does not allow me to process certain things correctly. So typically, as you guys can tell with my previous videos, I normally start off at the tip. I don't know why I felt the need to start at the cuticle area. And so on this hand, I feel like my brain kind of went into normal mode. And I remembered that it's probably going to be easier to start at the tip. So I figured I would include this and share with you guys my thought process on starting at the cuticle area versus at the tip. For me personally, I preferred this method better. I felt like the blends came out a little bit better. I don't know why, like I said, I decided to do the cuticle first, but definitely recommend if you guys give this design a go, start at the tip, work your way up into the cuticle area, and that's going to be a little bit easier. I feel like the product flows a little bit nicer. It's not super bulky. It just blends very well, and I don't know. That was just kind of what I gathered from doing both application process. So for this hand, I'm starting off backwards. On the opposite hand, I did a different color combination. So on this one, I'm starting off with the green, yellow, orange, and then working my way up into the other colors across the hand. So they're kind of going to be opposite from each other. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of this process since I already basically explained on the other hand. And I'll get right back on when I feel it is necessary.
It's too late now to turn around and back again. I made my bed and now I lay my head in it. And I'm sorry I'm not perfect, but for the best, you know the worst in me. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. You call my bluff, I won't pick up, I let it ring. Record your voice so I can listen back again. And I'm sorry I'm not perfect, but I knew that I wouldn't be. I guess it's for the best, you know the worst in me. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. So do you wanna take me back? All of our broken plans, so we can start again. Wanting down a second chance, I'm too selfish for that. I let you fall again, now that you know that. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was.
Now going back into our other hand, once we are done with our acrylic design, I am going in and encapsulating. I feel like there has been a lot of questions when it comes to the clear acrylic put over top. My reasoning behind it, and I usually try to explain it, is it adds the extra thickness to the nail that it will need, and you're saving product when it comes to colored acrylic. I feel like clear acrylic is way more accessible than colored acrylic. So if you buy a big container of clear, that's going to last you forever, versus you don't want to continue to replace your colored ones. So I'm going in with a very thin layer of clear acrylic, basically adding the extra thickness that I need while protecting the acrylic design that we just created. This is gonna work as a protective layer, as when you go in and file, you're not going to file any of the design that you created, so I prefer to do that. This is just not polished clear acrylic being applied with their brush. I'm just gently applying that near the cuticle area, dragging it down, and then adding a little bit more wherever I feel it needs a little bit more thickness. Once everything is nice and dry, I am going in with my filing process. I have now switched over to my e-file from Kiara Sky. With their 5-in-1 bit, I have my e-file at a speed of about 8,000 to 9,000 RPMs. And I'm just going in very lightly across the nail, filing that surface, making sure everything is nice and smooth, making sure that the cuticle area is nice and flush to her natural nail. That is also going to help prevent lifting. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails. Again, very light pressure at a speed of about 8,000 to 9,000 RPMs. I'm now going in with my hand file and doing a final file for my shaping. I'm going on both sides, making sure everything is nice and straight. And then we are flipping the hand around to look at the nails from the client's perspective and fully file that tip, making sure that everything is nice and straight at that point. You want to make sure that the view from the client is perfect as well as your view. So make sure you are flipping the hand around to look at that nails from a different perspective. I'm going to go ahead and finish that off, and then we are going to be top coating. Now I am cleaning her nails with a lint-free wipe and some Young Nail Swipe. You can absolutely have your client wash their hands, but make sure they only do it with water, as sometimes that soap can have oils which affects the top coat application. So I'm going in with my top coat. This one is Young Nails stain resistant top coat. My client is a hairstylist, therefore I like to protect her nails with an extra cautious layer of stain resistant top coat. If you guys have not heard of this top coat, definitely recommend it, especially for light colored nails. Clients that paint or do hair, anything that is going to stain their nails, you want to make sure you fully protect that design for the entirety of the wear. This stain resistant top coat does have a tacky layer, but I can look past that because it works so well. I like to use it on myself on my toes, and it protects my toe nail polish the entire time that I have on. And as you guys do recall, my hair is colored and it does not stain my white toes. So that is a really good way of explaining it to you guys. So make sure you guys are giving it a go. I definitely think it's worth it. It lasts me a long time, as I specifically only use it on my clients that need it. So a good thin layer of that. We're placing that in the light for a minute. I like to do 2 minutes just to be safe. And then we're going to be removing that tacky layer. Once we're out of the light, I am cleaning off that tacky layer with a lint-free wipe and some Young Nail Swipe. You can also use alcohol if you do not have Young Nail Swipe. And I'm just really scrubbing that off, making sure that it is not sticky at all whatsoever. And then we are going to be applying our cuticle oil. The cuticle oil is from Profiles Backstage. I use the one called Goddess and also the watermelon one. They smell super, super good. They melt right into the skin and do not leave an oily cast, which is crucial for finished product pictures. So make sure you guys are checking this cuticle oil out. It lasts forever too. Just gently massaging that into her skin. But that basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a ton. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys later. Now that we're popping,